once again from the community hub. Wish I didn't have to do so many updates today, but it seems like something major has changed with the eruption, so we're gonna give you guys the info we know so far. The first thing to mention is that the evacuation warning that was given for Cinder Road was also given for Papaya farm roads. We've now learned that there's actually a brush fire moving ahead of the flow in the direction of Papaya Farms Road, so we haven't heard any reports on the ground. What we have heard is that the USGS is now saying that the area of the braided river, one of the braids has gotten completely clogged, forcing all the channel to one side of the river. It doesn't all fit in there, it's overflowing kind of in both directions, and that's diverting a huge amount of the flow out of the banks of the channel today. According to our pilot Scott Wilson with Aloha Skies Aviation, he is saying that down around the bend from Green Mountain Poho Crater, that the entire lava channel has drained and looks like it's a dry bed at this point. So we know that the lava flow is probably still oozing down through that lower channel, but we know that a lot of it is not getting there anymore, and that's an extreme urgent concern. If all that flow is being diverted somewhere up the river and it's going towards the area of Cinder Road, it may actually be able to advance fairly quickly and wide as well. So I'm quite worried right now. I don't want to sound alarmist, but I think now is the time to really, if you're in the area, get all your stuff together and try to get out now. Now is the time. You guys are down there. I hope it's a false alarm, but it's too serious at this point to really consider that the flow will not go that way. It might actually go that way fairly fast, at least initially. There's a kind of a steep slope to start. It may flatten out and kind of slow down afterwards. Thank you guys who are all joining. If you guys have anything to contribute, please let me know. I'm just kind of updating live what we've been gathering by text. Kind of recap. We know for sure by the USGS reporting that one of the channels of the braid has been blocked. The flow is jumping out of the channel now, going both ways on both sides of the channel. One side is going north on the west side of Sanford's Pit. It's advanced, we believe, it's advanced an area of the intersection of Railroad and Cinder Road, more or less in there. Fissure 8 is still pumping. The lava coming out of it is high, in fact. We, in fact, have Les Peterson has been out at Fissure 8 minutes ago, in fact, and has sent us some video of what it looks like right now. The channel is quite high and it's pumping. The level was low earlier. I posted the video earlier from Janice Way, showing it was low with the banks exposed. Now, because of this blockage, it seems like it's backed up or the volume's gone up. One way or the other, the river is full again, the channels are full. We don't know if that area in the foreground of steam is from some recent overflow or if it's just from the rain with the hot rocks. We have heard that there is a small overflow in the area of the Y, but it's minor. It hasn't left a big flow field. The big news is farther down, where we actually have heard there's a big breach of the channel. Not a seep, not a tiny overflow, but it's like a major amount of lava being emitted. Scott Wilson was in the air and reported to us, but he is flying again right now, and he's going to give us back pictures when we have it. I didn't want to wait till pictures came back to give you guys a warning, so if you guys know anyone down in the area, now is the time for warning. This is a red alert, yeah. If the flow is possibly heading that way and the volume and the speed which it possibly did, the area of Noni Farms Road before, now is the time to get out of there, So we hope it's not the case, but it looks very, very serious, right? So let me show you guys a photograph taken by Eric Oliver, who actually has a farm at the top of Cinder Road. It's hard to kind of make out exactly what's going on here with the vegetation, but all the silver stuff is fresh lava that's spilling over right in the area. It's hard to tell if it's coming from the gap or around the side over here. In any case, it's a fairly wide flow. The most important news to me is the fact that they've announced that the reason for the flow, it's not a seep, it's not a little minor spillover from the side, it's actually a blockage of the braided part of the river, right? So that's hugely concerning. Combined with the fact that Scott Wilson has just reported by text with no photographs yet, but reported to us that that lower part of the channel below Kapoho Crater is apparently mostly drained of lava already, right? So if it's mostly drained of lava already, then well, if I cut out, I'm sorry you guys, but to repeat, a report from Scott Wilson is that, pilot Scott Wilson by text, is that that lower part of the river channel is basically mostly drained. I'm sure there's still a lot of hot lava in there, gooey lava that's not quite red. But if there's some amount of lava missing from that lower part of the channel, as reported by our pilot just now, we know the blockage upstream is one of the braided sections of the channel. We know there's a big amount of lava coming out of that channel right now, so I'm very, very concerned. You know, I hope that it's something that will stall out quickly, but this is the most serious event we've had in some time as far as the development of the channel. So when you see what Dane's got to say here to add, he says sections of the lava channel are being diverted. The flow is heading northeast near the top of Cinderland. So yeah, you guys, there's a lot of lava moving where it hasn't moved before. So I'm sorry, I don't want to cause a panic. We really hope that, you know, it seems like we've had enough different sources confirm now that something serious is happening there. We don't want to wait anymore for any photographs, and just let you guys know that for sure there's something happening there. The evacuation, the warning, you know, for possible evacuation was issued not just to Cinder Road, but also to Papaya Farms Road. It could be that this flow is wide enough that it may actually affect Papaya Farms Road as well. We have also heard there is a fire moving ahead of the flow front, which may be over near Papaya Farm Road's area already. We know it's ahead of the flow front. I'm not sure exactly how far. I don't have exact numbers about any of this stuff. We just know it's happening, and it's time for, if you guys are down there, you know, like, get your stuff together, right? Okay, the recap. We've heard some more information. The information we've heard is that the USGS has put forth the data that a piece of the channel wall from somewhere up the stream has blocked one of the sections of the braided channel and is causing a diversion from there. So let's look at the thermal map here quickly, and let me show you guys what I know. Hold on a second, let me get it lined up here. Give you guys some visual imagery here. So here we go. Here is the map. When they say the braided sections of the river, the last braided section is right here, so we know it's not down from here, it's somewhere around here. So my guess is if it's this one, you know, it's hard to say to guess, but the fact that flow is in the area over here means it's likely diverting over here, more so than way over here. Although, I don't know, it's totally possible something is blocking over here, and we're not sure exactly. We just know that somewhere in this area over here, something's blocking one of these channels. So if, for instance, it blocked this side, all the flow that was going on the bottom part of this photograph is now all of it going on the top. It doesn't all fit in there. So it's spilled over the bank, and it's fit this flow, which is moving off in this direction over here. Right, so I believe that Eric Oliver's farm, he said, is at the bottom of the Malka part of Cinder Road. Cinder Road is right here, right? So he's got to be somewhere in this area looking over here, right? So that flow, as Papaya flow, is going to be somewhere in an area over here. We heard reports earlier of a forest burning, producing white steam, white smoke. So we know it's actually advancing over new ground. It was hard to tell exactly what the reports were saying, but we believe that there is a forest fire that is moving ahead of there. Let me get the thing lined up here for you guys. Sorry if it's dizzying a little bit, but here's our area of concern. Right, that's railroad right there. Cinder Road is right here. It's possible the flow has come through an area like this, kind of going this way. You know, we're not sure exactly. We know it's high ground over here. Where the flow is flowed already, it's high ground as well. So the flow may be moving from this breakout spot. I'm going to pan down a little more. But from in here, possibly moving along the edge of the flow, I'll guess, in this direction over here. And maybe moving over in there, right? So we're getting some information from our reporter, Les Peterson has been talking to Civil Defense and is on the ground right now near the channel. We have heard that we haven't even just heard, we have video evidence that the lava levels near Fissure 8 are high again. To the point of actually almost spilling over. Let me show you guys right over here. This video taken from Leilani Avenue just less than an hour ago, showing how high the lava levels are within that channel. So you guys can see the channel is quite full up at Fissure 8. Fissure 8 is putting out the same amount of lava as before, or if it's been fluctuating and going down and up and down and up again, now it's up, as you can tell, which is relevant right now. It could also be that the blockage in the channel is causing the flow to back up, although it's a long way from there to here, so I'm not sure if that's got anything to do with it necessarily. We do know that the flow is high here, and it is backing up in an area, kind of backing up uphill from there. So let me go back to my thermal image. Oh, my thermal image is over here. All right, so oh, that's not the thermal one, that's the visible image. No, that is the thermal image. Just at the edge of it here. So the flow is, we believe, is breaking out somewhere in the area up here, and is moving off in this direction, right? It's direction downhill over here. So let's look at the flow map. Let me get up for you guys the descent lines that we have generated by Les Peterson. Just a minute. Let me get that up for you guys. Okay, turn it around. Okay, so here we have the active channel that split where the islands are more or less in here. Okay, so you gotta ignore everything underneath these pink lines, but see it's uphill in this direction, right? So the flow can't really, it's gonna have a hard time having gone up that way and around, I believe. So, the most logical thing, is not conclusive by any means, but right here, to the edge of this channel, is likely where any flow would go, and where this spit out down here in this area would kind of go along there. If it's spit out up in an area over here, it might go over top of here. And it's basically going along like the width of my fat finger as it's showing on here, kind of going this direction. You can see all these lines feed into here or here, and all this goes to this blue line right through here, which goes right through Cinderland, unfortunately. Cinderland is the area of the most immediate, greatest threat right there. So if you guys know anyone there, if you're in the area, watch out, get your stuff together, right? Hopefully it's a false alarm, but worst case scenario, this may be the chance you have to get what you really want to get, right? If you're lucky, you might get another trip. We've been spared, this area's been spared so far, and we've had stability in the channel for a long time, but it really seems like, the flow is, if it's really this much volume as we're led to believe, coming from here, it's going to head down this direction. It could start going there fairly fast. I'm not going to speculate, but it's going that direction, if it's got any amount of volume, right? And the fact that we've heard the new information as well from our pilot Scott Wilson, the lower part of the channel around Green Mountain, the Polar Crater, is drained out to the point where it looks like a dry riverbed, in his words. That's hugely alarming, because there's no flow going down in that direction. It means it's going to be pouring out of that breach farther up the river, right? So if that's the case, if most of the lava is going down there, that's a big alarm for everyone in Cinder Road over there, right? So that's the huge thing. On a maybe slightly tangential note, this time yesterday, we're all worried about the worm ponds. If this breakout is going the way it is, it's going to rob lava from there. It seems like the flow is maybe not going to go that direction very much longer. So that's maybe, the silver lining of this. But for now, our thoughts are really where Cinder Road instead. That area right there is one under greatest immediate threat. So if you guys know anyone, if you, have friends in the area, I've heard of cell reception isn't that great down there. So if you guys are able to text these people or whatever you got to do, let them know. Hopefully they're getting civil defense text alerts. Hopefully they have a radio on to hear what's going on. Nothing's mandatory yet. There's no mandatory evacuation yet. But you guys got to consider that at least historically for the last couple months, civil defense doesn't give you a whole lot of time before their final warning, right? So now is the time to start getting your first load out of there, right? Get your first load out of there if you can. Hopefully you have a chance to get more loads out of there. Hopefully this thing stalls out. But if it doesn't, you'll at least have gotten something, right? So now is the time. Now is the time. Let me show you guys the USGS map. USGS map doesn't show nearly as much detail as Les's map, which is why I've been relying on that for these small scale details. But the area of our flow is right in here. You can see that they show one big blue line. It moves along the northern edge of the 1960 Kapoho flow. Sorry guys, the rain's getting really, really hard. So I'll try to talk loud. So right through here, the flow would kind of go through this area, the ocean over here, right? There are maybe two farm areas in here. So those are two areas that may be affected farther on. Right now, the immediate impact is Cinder Road, Cinderland, Eco Village is right in here. So that's what we're warning for right there. So let me look back at some of your comments, you guys. Okay, let me see. Someone mentioned bombing the flow. That's never going to happen, bombing the flow here. Two issues. One, liability. If you send the flow somewhere else and burn something down, you're now liable for it. And two, there's a cultural component to this where it's not appropriate to bomb the lava flow. So I'll leave it at that, and without going into detail, you guys can hash that out among yourselves in the comment if you want to know more. But essentially, that's the deal, yeah. Hawaii Tracker just posted a text update with some more information. If you guys want to go up there to that website and check it out, I'll be posting continuously. I will keep giving updates as far as you know, whatever we learn. You know, we're still listening to the police scanner, but there is no mandatory evacuation yet. Keep in mind, you know, if you guys are on Cinder Road, Papaya Farms Road especially, watch out for those fires. Watch out for the fact that those flows may be coming your direction fairly, you know, potentially quickly. It may be that they kind of flatten out and kind of have a chance to thicken before they advance, but you know, that's just buying you time, so you know, don't delay. It's really pouring here now. It's really rained a lot. This system has put out a lot of rain in the last week, 8 days especially, right? About a week ago, we had 6 hours of lightning, pouring thunderstorm down here in the Papaya area. It's dumping here right now. The reports are from the National Weather Service of maybe 9 inches of rain falling in the Leilani area today. Right? Is that right? According to National Guard, 9 inches of rain. Here is a video taken by a Leilani resident today, showing the rain pouring over there. It's even flooding in the area. That's how quickly how much it's been flowing in there. Right? So that's the word, you know, that's just like a minor thing. You know, another minor thing is the flow to the, well, minor for the people because no one's living at the warm ponds, I hope. But the flow of the warm ponds appears to have been cut off, or at least somewhat diverted. Unfortunately, all the lava that's been diverted is going towards Cinder Road, near Railroad Avenue intersection. People can smell smoke in Hawaiian beaches. We know vegetation is burning. There's new ground being covered by the flow. All this because of the big block in the braided part of the channel farther upstream, right? That maybe is diverting a good amount of that flow. You know, I would think that some of the flow would actually be able to stay in the channel still, but if the channel looks fairly drained, then you know it's hard to know exactly what's going on there. And really, yeah, this is the most serious development change in our stability we've had in a while. You know, we've kind of gotten used to everything staying where it was, and you know, we're thankful for that. But unfortunately, that stage appears to be over. So now it's time to move. Time to move if you're in an area of Cinderland, Papaya Farms Road as well. Yeah, your pets, your photos, your documents, all those things, right? Usually we don't worry about flooding too much here because the ground is fairly porous. You know, when lava, you know, imagine how many cracks we have and how lava's got all those bubbles through it, and the water can kind of drain. But when it rains that much, that quick, there's not enough time for it to seep through the ground. That's when we actually get that kind of flooding event that, you know, is a little more concerning. But I think flood is probably the least of our concerns right now. It's actually the lava flow that's moving north of Cinderland. If it's really true, the fact that most of the channel has been diverted and jumping the bank, so to speak, you know, and going towards Cinder Road, that's a big amount of lava. Everyone needs to really watch out. You know, I don't give this warning lightly. You know, I hope that, you know, I would hope that I would be wrong. So yes, that's the word. I'm not going to drag it out any more than this. I will come back. I'll report to you guys as soon as I have some more information. Although maybe we'll stall a little bit and see if I have anything came in while I've been talking to you guys. There's stuff coming in kind of continuously all the time, so let me see what I can dig up for you guys. We do know that the pilots are in the air flying now, and they will be sending us photographs that we'll report on a little later. So let me see if there's anything that I can add to that. Let's see. Well, the only thing to kind of mention as well is in our report from the ground Leilani is that the lava level is actually quite high in that channel once again. There was a report of a small spillover at the Y. As far as I know, that one is not anything quite serious yet. But the fact that the lava channel is high in the upper channel again means that overflows over there are possible as well. We don't know how much it's going to actually back up. But yes, I'm very concerned right now for the area of Cinderland, right? And, you know, we got kind of stalled, you know, putting this out like 2 updates ago. I came through with another update before this saying maybe something's going on there. And after this news of the actual braided channel getting clogged, you know, that's the most concern, right? So let me show you guys the thermal image once again. Okay, let me zoom out of this so you guys can get a little better perspective here. I mean, you can get it back in frame here. But here's our braided section of the channel, Big Island, and then right here is our lowest braided section of the channel. Braided channel means the flow splits and goes around islands. That's what it means. Usually that happens in rivers of water where you have kind of like a shallow rapids kind of area, you know, but you know, I'm not sure how well that relates here. What we do know is that if this is the area where it breached, oh, I went and zoomed it again. There I go. This is the area where it breaches right there, then it's going to be spilling over and moving in a direction downhill over here. The flow could be up to this wide over here, like between my fingers. You know, if you imagine the size of the first flow, the channel is right in the middle, but the actual size of the flow when it first came out is going through here. We have reports. Let's see, Ryan Finley reports smoke is approaching Cinderland as seen from Papaya Farms Road. Lots of spillovers, elevated gases. I'm not sure about elevated gases of SO2 in particular. There could be, you know, there's definitely more steam. You know, the fact there's more steam coming out of the ground might mean that more other gases coming out as well, so you might be able to smell it more. You know, honestly, I have no idea what's going on with the weather around here. You know, there could be more sulfur. I couldn't tell you. I do know that here at the hub, we have had pretty good air conditions. You know, I haven't smelled any fog right here all day. I did smell it when I was driving through HPP earlier, maybe Analoa area more accurately. Yes, quite likely we have acid rain. Maybe not in this exact spot because the blaze plume is not over us, but other areas it may well be. Yeah. Nana Valley right now is still in the clear. Nana Valley is kind of off. You know, everything is fine on Nana Valley right now. Our concern is farther down. Kind of below that area. So let's see. We've heard that Ken Boyer is live now, so I encourage you guys to all. I'm going to turn off my feed and let's go and see what he's got going on over there. All right. So stay safe, everybody. Tell all your friends. We'll be back to you live as soon as we hear any more information. When we have more photographs or anything to go on. For now, you know. It appears that there is a very real threat. We're not sure how big it is, so we're going to err on the side of caution and tell you guys to take it very seriously, right? Everything has been stable for a while, and don't let that deceive you, the fact that something has changed. Remember from a few weeks ago how big and how fast these flows can move, right? How quickly it can advance. The flow moved from the area where it is now all the way to Kapoho in 2 days before, right? So maybe even less than that. So please take this seriously. Yeah. So okay, Ken's no longer on live. So okay, well maybe I won't end it then. You know, I'm not sure what else I can tell you guys. Just a second. Let me see if there's. Nope, that's not a report in lava. I'm trying to listen to the police scanner at the same time. But no report of anything there quite yet. We do know from our reporter Les Peterson was at the operations center earlier talking to Civil Defense. They described it as a major breakout, right? And you know, they haven't issued many of these evacuation warnings. It's a warning, it's not a mandatory evacuation yet. But if you guys remember, you know, the actual warning may only come when it's the last minute critical. So this is your warning ahead of the warning, the last minute warning, right? The big breakout. You guys just joining us now, we know the USGS has reported a big piece of the channel wall has blocked that most section, one of the lower sections of the braided channel. The channel has jumped its banks to both sides. The flow to the north is threatening Cinderland Eco Village right there. We believe the flow is advancing fairly quickly in that area. We have heard from our pilots that the lower section of the channel below Green Mountain Coal Crater has been largely drained. So amazingly, the lava flow that we see in this thermal image, let me turn the camera around for you guys one more time. So he's saying that this whole river channel down here to the south is all draining away as we speak right now. I'm sure there's a lot of hot gooey lava still in there, and it's going to flow for probably a few days. But the fact that the channel lava at the surface of this whole area all the way down here has disappeared, right, means that all that lava is going somewhere. And we believe, based on USGS reports, that somewhere in the area of the braid over here, something blocked the channel. All the flow that's going around these two islands is now going on one side, spilling over, likely moving over the more recent flow field or along the edge of it, somewhere in that area there, and has now reached as far as a greenery up through here and is burning vegetation in this area visible from Papaya Farms Road. So the flow paths lead it downhill right through here, right? We can ramp the flow paths for you guys again. Let me see if I have that handy. There they are. Okay, so we think our breach is happening somewhere in the area right in here. The flow lines in the pink don't matter, all that's been covered. There's a little uphill here, so it's going to basically flow through that gap right in there. And then once it gets through there, the flow is going to channel and kind of go off in this direction, right down Cinder Road, right past Cinderland Eco Village, and off to the northeast. That's the big concern. If we go to the USGS map, which is over here, we can see the kind of larger scale of it. We can see that line of steepest descent, here's a little gap right in here. The flow is going to have to move right through there, kind of where it was before. Would hit this line. If it gets to the ocean, if it goes away to the ocean, it's going to the ocean all the way north over here in an area it has not reached before. So that's the potential threat of this new branch. I mean, actually, if it goes as far as the ocean, it will likely take this path right through here, right? If you guys are worried, Wawa is over here. Ba'a, to be more accurately pronounced, is over here. So you guys are still out of harm's way. Obviously, the flow is a lot closer to you than before, so that's cause for concern. We're not sure why that block actually went and blocked that part of the river. It may be that the fluctuations in the lava level we've been seeing over the last couple of days have actually finally caught up to us, where pieces of the channel wall have broken free and are now being swept down a channel and actually clogging those areas, right? It's only been, I want to say, was it July 3rd, 6 days ago now, they talked about the apartment-sized block blocking the channel of the river around a curve, and that's what kind of caused the initial channel to drain the first time and the south flow to establish its way towards the warm ponds. So our silver lining is the fact that flow towards the warm ponds are likely cut off. It's unlikely now that flow is going to make much headway, because the flow, all the lava that was going down towards the warm ponds now seems to be diverted, unfortunately, into that residential area. Not very heavily residential, but still residential. I know that if the flow happens to be wide enough and gets to Papaya Farm Roads, we've been talking to a lot of people here at the hub who live there or actually been in there, staying there. I'm very concerned for those guys. I know reception in there is not great. I know text messages are more likely to go through. If you guys know anyone in there, send them a text message. Let them know. Hopefully they're getting the civil defense alerts. There was one that went out, 3 something. Be prepared to evacuate if you're in Cinder Road or Papaya Farms Road. Right, those are the areas of greatest concern right now. So just to say, like, we don't have any photographs. We don't know exactly how fast the flow is moving. But if it is that whole volume of the channel, then it's got a big potential to do a lot of damage very, very quick, right? So I hate to be alarmist about this, but this is the biggest threat we've had in many days. So please, you guys, take this seriously. Yeah? I think I've repeated myself I don't know how many times now. I keep seeing if any more info is going to come in, to share with you guys. But I probably should give it a break for you guys. And come back to you guys when we have more images from the air, right? So everybody, let's put all our thoughts with everyone in the area down there. If you guys know who to help, please help them. Please help them. Now's the time. All right, guys. So thank you for tuning in. Hopefully we'll not need another update, but but it seems likely we'll have to give you guys some more information when we get some photographs and see what's going on. Once more, I apologize for the noise. It's pouring rain here as usual. This is for the last week. The generator's on because I forgot my iPad, so I'm reading my laptop today. I gotta have a thing plugged in. So thank you guys, and we'll be in touch again soon. So everybody stay strong out there. Make good decisions, right? You remember how hard it is to make decisions, and you know, at the moment of panic. This is why we've been telling you guys to kind of prepare mentally plan, mentally step through your plan. You know, now is the time to put your plan in motion if you guys are in that area. All right. So good luck to everybody. We're all in it together, right? So you know, feel for you guys, and stay classy, Puna. One more note. I have heard that Ikaika is on his way back tonight. So tomorrow he says he'll be back at the hub at some point tomorrow. By evening, we'll be back at the hub. So we'll have our team. We'll have a little bit more boots on the ground. I'm not going out there and seeing what's going on myself. I'm relying on civilians to give me the information. So if you guys are out there, know something that we haven't reported, please let us know, and then get out of there, please. Yeah, unless you have, you know, your exit route all planned, your truck's all packed, whatever else, you know. So please be careful. Please be careful. All right, guys. I'll end it now. Let you guys get the recap, and mahalo. Stay classy, Puna. Aloha.